The worst part is you just don't know when or which of these are gonna hit you when you're studying abroad or living abroad. You just don't know. Hi, my name is Sara. I am from Poland and I studied in the UK and in Sweden. And later after that, I did an internship in Denmark. And now I'm back in Poland, but in a different city from where I grew up. I have to say, over these 6 years, I feel like all the things I listed have at least once really got into my mind. Because let me tell you, there are just as many bad things as there are good things in studying abroad, and I would never do it any other way. I would definitely always pick studying abroad again if I were to go back in time. However, no one really prepares you for the emotional turmoil that is being away and figuring things out on your own, essentially. So here are some things that I think are just the worst about studying abroad. You might think it's obvious, okay, that you're away from family, you're gonna miss your family, but one thing that shocked me is that I kind of missed my culture. Now, growing up in Poland, I didn't really think of it as much. I mean, I knew that we had our poetry, our songs, we had the traditional food and all of that, but as an 18-year-old, I didn't really think that I'm gonna miss that in particular. But let me tell you, I think that was one of the first things that I realized when I studied abroad, where I was like, wait, I would really want to eat pierogi right now and I cannot. And that made me very sad. So I feel like there's always a remedy to it. You can always try and make it yourself. You can always buy local products abroad. There's usually stores that sell international ingredients, but it's just not the same. And I think that's one of the worst things. You just want your comfort food, you want your family flavors and kind of cultural cuisine, and it just isn't the same. You're not gonna go around to your grandma's house and get the best plate of food ever, okay? Which at the same time makes you also appreciate it when you come home for like holidays or vacations, but it's hard. It's hard. Now, second one is kind of serious, and after 6 years abroad, I think this one has come in and out of my life. When I first moved out, I had just finished high school. I was so excited. I was like, yes, I'm so ready for this next chapter. I am so confident in this. I'm like so excited, right? But then after a few years, you come to realize how unless you stay in one place for a very long time, it's really difficult. It's not impossible, but it's very difficult to build lasting quality and deep connections with other people. Of course, you can make friends abroad, I'm not saying that. It's just a bit different when you have friendships that you've curated and cared for years and years and years, and you meet each other in person, and it's just so different to meeting someone for the first time. In the back of your mind, you're thinking, I'm not gonna be here next year. I am gonna change this friendship into a long distance friendship. How is that gonna affect it? Because the dynamic of a friendship might work super well in person, but then fizzle out if you only FaceTime or send messages or even send letters. And again, there's so many remedies, and maybe this is a whole separate video that I should record of like remedies to the worst parts. But still, the fact stands that seeing your friend in person, hanging out, even just doing nothing, watching TV, just talking, yapping about anything is so different to calling and arranging a FaceTime and texting and making sure that you respond in time and all of this. It's just so different. And I think that's the second worst thing, is just the friendships and the relationships change. Those that you leave behind when you go abroad, and those that you create abroad if you move back or if you move somewhere else. It also doesn't mean that those that you create in the new place won't last, because I have made some beautiful friendships I'm so grateful for today. And, we have those scheduled FaceTimes, maybe once a month, maybe once every 3 months, but those friendships are still so special to me. But it's just something that keeps coming back, where you move to a new place, you start from scratch, and you have to create this community of people that you know, sometimes things won't work out. It's just complicated. It's complicated and it's not easy. It's one of the worst parts, actually. Speaking about starting from scratch, I think it's just so difficult to get up and go again and again. And I'm saying this as I have done that. So I'm not, again, I would never change my experience. That was like the best decision I could make. When you move to a new place where you don't know how things work, you don't know possibly the language, you don't know anyone, no people, no nothing, no, like, you're literally starting from scratch. That builds character. That builds confidence, that builds character, and that builds skill of that kind of knowledge that you need to be independent and stand on your own ground and just know that you can figure things out. But at the same time, now that I've done it 4 times over, because I moved from Poland to Belfast, that was a whole thing. Then I moved to Sweden, which I've never been to before, so I had no idea what's going on. And then moved from Sweden to Denmark, and now even back in Poland, back in my own country, I'm starting from scratch because I'm in a different city. So I have no idea where things are. I have no idea. And because I haven't lived in Poland for the past 6 years, or basically all of my adult life, I also have no idea how things work here. I had to figure out taxes, had to figure out like paperwork, all of this the same way as a foreigner would. So honestly, it's just super difficult, but at the same time, it's like the worst and the best thing, because those challenges will make you feel like you can conquer the world. Like once you've done it once, you're like, I got this. I can stand in line in this office and sign this paper all by myself. I got this. But it is the worst, because the stress, the anxiety, the constant overthinking, have I filled everything out? Do I have the right paperwork? Do I have the permit? Do I have everything? Am I paying the right taxes? It's crazy. The amount of pressure and the amount of stress is not what an average teenager and young adult has to go through unless they move to a foreign, unknown place. And it was just, again, like the worst and the best part, because it built my own knowledge on how the world works and the realities of things, and just being able to stand on my own 2 feet and know that I can figure things out. But in the moment, worst thing. Setting up a bank account in a foreign country, setting up a phone number in a foreign country, setting up all these things that you don't have to think about when you have it already in place in your own country. Crazy. Crazy. Okay, the next one, I don't know how to even explain. It's kind of a feeling of loneliness, even if you're not lonely, if you're not alone. And it sounds very deep, and it kind of is, because I mentioned all these friendships and starting from scratch, and maybe the first time I didn't feel it. That's why I say you just don't know when things are gonna hit you. So I didn't feel this when I moved to Belfast. I didn't feel this that much when I moved to Sweden, but when I moved to Denmark, I definitely felt this crushing me. And what I mean by loneliness is that you're fine on your own, right? You're completely self-sufficient. You know how things are done. You moved abroad. You're like, yes, I have done the hard stuff. I can do anything. And then you start meeting friends, you make lovely connections. But there are days that no matter how many lovely friends you have in this new place, there are days where you just sit down and feel so foreign. There are days where you sit down and you're like, I know the language, I'm familiar with the culture now, I have made beautiful connections with people here, and yet you still feel a disconnect. And maybe this isn't something that everyone experiences, but it's something that I really didn't expect, and yet there were days that I was really shocked by this overwhelming kind of sadness of like, I will never fit in. But, you know, I think it's a passing feeling, but also just, I think that feeling is just the worst. I'm listing all the worst things. This is quite a negative video, but it's just, you know, a heads up, because you don't know what you'll experience. No one talks about this when they send you off to a different country and they're like, yes, we're so proud of you, go. But yeah, it's just a feeling of being so detached from where you come from. And yet when you come back for holidays, for vacations, for whatever, to that country that you come from, you also feel a little bit foreign there. So suddenly you don't belong to either places. So I think you have to build that up with time and just trust yourself that you have to follow your gut feeling, where you feel more at home, what feels best for you. But the feeling of kind of loneliness and being foreign in both your home, where you come from, or home now, I guess, and the foreign country is, and the thing is, actually, that's pretty popular. If you've watched any other interviews with students that have studied abroad, they'll all say the same thing. You don't feel at home with your parents and your family, and you also don't feel at home in your new place that you start to build. It's a very confusing thing, and you feel kind of torn. Now, of course, I could list thousands of other aspects that are difficult, that are challenging, that are not obvious about studying abroad. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'm more than happy to answer them. But what I wanted to say is, you know, apart from managing finances and trying to get scholarships and all these things that you're trying to sustain yourself with abroad, there comes so many difficulties with just adjusting to a different culture, body language, different traditions, different little niche things that you find out about a country and place. And to sum up, I really wanted to say, it's also kind of the beauty of it, because you put yourself in a super uncomfortable situation, and once you get comfortable in it, you realize that it's really up in your brain. It's how you rewire. It's how you rewire your brain throughout that process that makes the biggest difference in your life. And honestly, it builds lore. I'm just gonna say that. Do it for the plot. You know? It's difficult, but all of your favorite characters, all of your favorite TV shows, all the main characters, they go through difficulties. So if you want to think about yourself as a main character, go abroad, study abroad. I know it's easier said than done, but I challenge those of you that are thinking about it. I got off topic there, but there's a beauty of it to learn the super niche, the super detailed things that you only find out about a country when you live there long term and not just a vacation, that make it also worth it. Because you can go backpacking, you can go for 2-3 days to Rome, to Athens, you can go to Berlin, you can go to all these beautiful cities, but you still won't experience them as a person that lives there, that has to deal with the daily, that has to go grocery shopping. Those are the things that you learn about when you stay and work or study, and it becomes your mundane. And I think that's really wonderful. I always say that I've been slow traveling for the past 6 years because I've been taking longer steps in between changing locations. So yeah, I think that's all for me. I'm really curious what you would add to the list of the worst things when studying abroad. Stay tuned for the video about the best things studying abroad, and also how to remedy those icky bad feelings and difficult situations. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment, leave a like, maybe subscribe if you're interested. You can have a look at my channel. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Bye!